President Xiomara Castro has responded to Donald Trump's threats of mass migrant deportations once he becomes president. In a national broadcast on New Year's Day, she said if he sends Hondurans back home, she could kick the US out of military bases in her country.
In the face of a hostile attitude of mass deportation of our people, we'd have to consider a change in our policy of cooperation with the United States, especially in the military field, where for decades they've maintained bases in our territory without paying a penny, which in this case would lose all reason to exist in Honduras.
Mass deportations are a big worry for Honduras. More than 500,000 of the country's people live in the States without legal status, according to official US figures. Many send much-needed remittances back home. Now Castro is putting into play the presence of US forces, particularly in Soto Cano, a Honduran airbase. They've been there since the 1980s, tasked with, among other things, counter-narcotic operations. Fellow Latin American President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico was asked about Castro's comments on Thursday. She responded briefly.
We talked to the President of Honduras some days ago. We're putting forward the idea of a meeting of foreign ministers of several countries in January to talk about the subject of migration and how the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean can cooperate to attend to its causes.
Sheinbaum's dealing with her own demands from Trump that Mexico stops the flow of migrants to the US. If it doesn't, Trump says the US will impose 25% tariffs on all Mexican goods. These are all words for now, threats from a man who's not yet US president and responses from other countries to situations that are as yet hypothetical. But it is noticeable that the Mexican government, while measured and restrained, is sending signals that it's not going to be as pliant as last time Trump was in power. Honduras, meanwhile, seems to be going a step further. But Honduras is one of the smallest and most impoverished countries in Latin America. Does it really have the power to resist the US? One of Castro's political rivals and an ex-member of her government had this to say.
If the U.S. decides to close the tap on the $30 million that come into the country daily from the States, it would kill us with hunger.
The real confrontations or negotiations will come, of course, after January 20th, when Donald Trump becomes President Trump once again. John Holman, Mexico City, Al Jazeera.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.